All right, we are picking up where we left off from the last episode, which was the top framing assembly here. So I'm gonna sand this thing down. I have it bondoed now. As you can see, kind of I need to sand it up, but it's bondoed up there to get us as smooth as we can. Don't need to get too crazy with the smoothness. We have that gasket, which is going to seal up everything else, but we want to get it somewhat there. So once we get that knocked out, we'll get the frame tacked up and pre-fitted, and then we're going to actually attack, in order to get the jack assembly figured out, we first have to, I really want to verify the dimension of that tailgate coming down. I got some bullet hinges for the hinge piece that are Zerk fitted for nice, smooth, quiet operation. Those are going to go down here. At this point, we have this connection piece for the bed and frame assembly, which is going to hinder where we can actually locate those hinges. Ideally, I think it'd be down here at this frame piece, but this is actually frame assembly that goes up. You can see here it's actually that thick, so we have another good 3/4 of an inch or so from where you see it here. And that's where our hinge point's going to anchor here to the actual tailgate, and it will then drop down, stopping about this level, which gives us a little space here, as well as clearing that connection point. So all that has to happen, and it has to happen first before I get the jack assembly figured out, just because I want to make sure it clears and we are mounting in the correct location. Also, frame has to happen first, so I need to have a good end point where this the tailgate that I'm going to fab up stops. You know, it's going to be about 21 inches, but I want to make sure it's right flush with the top to give us a cleaner look, hopefully. That's the intent, anyway. We'll see what it actually ends up as, how flush it gets. But yeah, so that's it. That's the plan. So without further ado, let's get this, do some sanding and proceed. All right, we are making progress here today on this Labor Day weekend. We have a frame. So, pretty happy about this. Looks to be pretty square. I mean, square. Lines up about perfect. With that, I gave myself a little inset to cap these off at the ends here, but the same is true back on this side. So we should be pretty good. All right, the next step is really to get this whole front gate, tailgate squared away. I do want to cut this out first, but I'm worried about cutting it out. I think I need to tack this up just to keep it from popping out any. It's a good point here. Not sure what to do there. If I need to tack this up just to keep it from popping out, or just go with it. I mean, really, it shouldn't we have this kind of framing right here, so anything, it shouldn't have any kind of anywhere to go for it to pop out. And actually, it's going to have to be left open, I mean, down the road. So I guess, as I'm thinking about it right now, right here, I think we should be fine. We have our framing member here. This, everything should be fine. I should be able to just cut this thing out. So, that's what we'll do. All right. One little side note. I kind of got distracted with the hardware store. And back here, you can see, here's the original pins. Here, they're loose, they squeak. It's just metal on metal. So what I did is I went down to the hardware store, got the correct size pin for here. And I have a nylon bushing in between. These nylon bushings right here that go. I got one on the front side, one in between the other side, and then one on the end at the nut. So that should alleviate. I did just one as like a test run to see if it worked, and it does. It's already quieter, just that one. So I'm going to go through and do one by one. What I had to do is I took the angle grinder, and if you can see here, there's a little bit of room right there. Squeak one nylon washer in, and I can get another one on either side of the nut. But you end up running out of space in between here with what was originally given. So what I did is I took an angle grinder and I just slid it right in the side here, and it gave me just enough space for that washer, and everything's nice and tight and it's not going anywhere. So we're good. I just got to do 3 more. We'll see. I'll just kind of tackle those as I want. But next step now is to do the front tailgate. I need like a front gate. I guess that's the name for it. The front rear gate. I don't know. The tailgate, the front tongue gate. That might be good. Tongue gate. We'll go with that. Anyway, we need to get it laid out here and kind of tacked out. See what we can do. Take some measurements. I don't know if I'm gonna have time. The sun is fading. I gotta wake up early tomorrow. Dove hunt, September 1st, around the country. Opening day of dove hunt season, and we're going as is traditionally done. So gotta get up early for that one, 4 a.m. or earlier. Wake up calling that. So we will see how late I want to take this one tonight, but let's do it. All right. So last I talked to you, I was going to do the front gate, or the tongue gate that we're calling it now, but I realized I did not get these welded out on the side of these angles. So how about a quick time lapse of that? Go. Yeah, so what I did there is, instead, I originally said, and what I planned to do was make like short little sections, maybe 4 of them. Instead, when I put a piece of bar up here with this angle, I like the look of it, and decided to go full length with it, like you see here. So that's what I did. I just stitch welded it every 6 inches. I went every 12, then came back and filled in every 6 inches or so, and did the same thing on the other side. As you can see, I am going to have to flip this thing over and actually weld the bottom side, because as you can see, there's a slight angle to that. I'm going to again still put holes in here every, I think, 4 should probably do it, but that only leaves this one point here as like a hinge piece. So if you have it held here and there's any kind of lateral movement, it's all gonna be flexing off of this one joint, and not really so any structural integrity is based off this one stitch welded seam here, which isn't very strong. So I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing with the back side, stitch welded up, and the gasket will go inside here on this piece on this side, and so any water intruding here shouldn't be an issue. I may still put some caulking or a silicone sealant there just to prevent water from getting down and rusting out the outside of it. So that's a thought. That's what we did there, and now we're actually going to get to that gate. So I have some metal over here. I ordered a while ago and had like a general design figured out, but it was based off of something else. So hopefully I have enough metal here to get this thing done. Obviously don't have the sheet metal to back it for this side either, but that's what we're going to do. All right, so first things first, we got to cut this front out. Hopefully it doesn't move. All right. Whew. Well, we have no more front end to the trailer, which is a good thing. There is a little more surface rust on here that I would like to see, but I think it still will be okay. I still have to come through and grind these points off that were stitch welded here on the original piece, but you can also see just how much depth I have to work with here. It's a good 1.5 inch piece. It's pretty solid too. I'd say it's 1/8 inch at least. So should be more than strong enough to hold that tailgate up. On the sides here, so that we had a clean finish, I left this piece long, and I cut. There was a piece on the inside that came in and folded over. I ground all this off, pulled that piece off, and I'm going to take this and cut it at the base here, and then roll it in and weld it onto this piece, so it'll give a nice clean finish on this edge. Hopefully it works out. It should. I don't see why it wouldn't, but you never know, I guess. So yeah, that's where we are. So let me get this thing cleaned up, and then I'll start taking some measurements for, and roll this thing over, start taking some measurements for the actual front gate, the tongue gate. All right. Well, I think we're going to call it. Sun is faded and starting to get to a point where I need to make some noise, and I don't think the neighbors will appreciate it. But we did get it all chopped out. I do have it cut here and ground down to be flush. I'll eventually tack this in place, weld it up. The edges I have cut to where I can start folding them over. It's just getting loud where I'm gonna have to start whacking this thing with a hammer, and it's just like I said, it's getting loud. Neighbors aren't gonna appreciate it. So we're gonna end it here, We did get a frame built out, and we got the front end cut out. I'm going to do an assessment on my metal supply over here and see just what I need. I'll grab some more if need be throughout the week, and hopefully get the tongue gate. Couldn't think of it. The tongue gate figured out here. Hopefully this week. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned. Sorry to leave you on a cliffhanger, but adios.